For the cops. Yeah, they've been that. Sorry. I'm walking. Thanks, sir.
I can't worry about it because you just do it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Morrisville Borough's regular meeting of Borough Council. It's February 20th, 2018. We begin our meeting at 7:30. I just would like to ask everyone to remember the victims and their family, friends, and loved ones from the horrific school shooting in Florida tonight. So please keep them in your prayers. If you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance first and our moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm sorry, I got it backwards. Okay, and if we can have a roll call, please.
Here.
Here. Here. Here.
Here. Yep.
Here.
Here.
Big flag.
We're
cousins.
It's great.
Okay. Thank you. We don't have any announcements or presentations tonight, so we will go right into public comment. I'm sorry. Even though he did it? Even though we announced it before? I'm sorry.
Yeah, before, we're not, oh. What was last night, right?
Yeah, I don't think because we announced it last time.
Yeah, we did.
We announced it?
Scott, we announced last time too.
Mhm.
We had one since last night.
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah.
There was an executive session last night for the purpose of interviewing potential candidates for the borough manager position.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll begin with public comment. The first one is Christina Wall.
Good evening. So my name is actually Christina Morganti. Sorry, I've been recently married. So I'm the homeowner at 726 Crown Street, which is located in, is it on? You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can, but.
Is this better? No? Okay. Better? Can you, better now?
It's good.
No, it's good? Okay. 726 Crown is located in Morris Heights, which, as you are all aware, is the only remaining R1 residentially zoned district in Morrisville. And I'm speaking tonight on behalf of many residents and homeowners throughout Morrisville. You may be able to recognize us. And we're here to talk about the use and occupancy of 705 Crown Street. So as you all may know, JBT of PA LLC was registered in May of 2017. Joe Tuttle is listed as the sole organizer of that business. Joe Tuttle is also the current CEO of the Treatment Center, which is headquartered in Pompano Beach, Florida, and has recently opened a treatment center in Langhorne. JBT of PA purchased 705 Crown Street on December 4th, 2017. So last month, we all sat here patiently through a presentation from JBT and Banyan, because obviously they are separate companies but clearly related. And we wanted to better understand the use and occupancy of this building of 705 Crown. Like so many of my neighbors, I left that meeting no more informed than when I had arrived 3 hours prior. And after the presentation, a number of us concerned residents and homeowners separately invested considerable time viewing, reviewing, transcribing the recording of the meeting, and reviewing the text of the borough zoning code. Together we met, compared observations, and documented a considerable number of issues, which in respect to the council schedule, I'll simply summarize in the following way. First and foremost, the Banyan presentation led off with a statement that suggests extreme lack of due diligence on the part of the company with respect to our code and ordinances here in Morrisville Borough. Upon further review, we noted at least two statements that were clear contradictions of other statements or answers within the same presentation, at least 4 statements demonstrating their own confusion and uncertainties having to do with various governmental regulations, at least 10 statements demonstrating attempts at misdirection, and most significantly, at least 16 statements attesting to facts that their intended use of 705 Crown Street is in fact non-conforming to the R1 Borough Zoning Code. For those reasons, we ask that council recognize the non-conforming use and occupancy, which JBT of PA intends for 705 Crown Street, and therefore deny them their certificate of occupancy. Thank you for your time and service.
Thank you. Next is Melanie Hoover. Please state your address, please.
Yes, good evening, and thank you for allowing me to address the Borough Council this evening. My name is Melanie Hoover, and I live at Fairview Avenue, 91 Fairview Avenue. I've been a resident of Morris Heights for the past 14 years. I was able to attend the Borough Council meeting back on January 16th, where many residents, like myself, were hoping to get some clarity on Banyan, also known as JBT of PA, LLC. Although this company had ample representation physically, I left with more questions than I arrived with. I was totally confused. So I decided to go home and do a little online homework of my own. At the meeting last month, I heard many terms from Gloria Freifeld and Sue Schumacher. They spoke of their purchase of 705 Crown Street as being non-conforming. And they also referred to the staffers as caretakers, service workers, terms along these lines. Well, when I went onto the Banyan Treatment website of Philadelphia, which I have right here, for some answers, a few key sentences really caught my attention. In the third paragraph, it states that Banyan-trained medical and psychiatric staff are always available to address the patient's full scope and their needs. Doesn't sound like a caretaker to me, and it really just doesn't sound like someone who's just a service worker. It sounds like a physician, which is completely different. Banyan Clinical approaches the treatment is to address patients' substance use disorders and co-concurring medical health in an integrative, multidisciplinary fashion. These are direct quotes from their website and easy to find when you look up Banyan treatment centers. Patients, not residents. Medical staff, not service workers. These words seem to directly contradict what is allowed by code and zoning for 705 Crown Street. Therefore, I'm opposing the occupancy of Banyan on 705 Crown Street. Thank you.
Next is John Kane.
John Kane, 720 Crown Street. Good evening, members of council, and thank you for your time. I'm here tonight along with Christina Melanie, speaking on behalf of a much larger group of concerned residents from the R1 district and adjacent districts. I'd ask that everyone stand for a moment if you are here tonight because you oppose the new non-conforming use of 705 Crown Street. Thank you. Now, while there are many of us here tonight and we're all very concerned, we want to be respectful of council's time. And so I'll be the last person speaking from this group. And I'll be addressing the issue of zoning. So simply put, Banyan's proposed use is not permitted in an R1 zone. And furthermore, we are concerned that Banyan is attempting to circumvent our zoning procedures. And we want to be clear about the code as we see it. The current use of the building is as apartments with 1-year long-term leases. Banyan wants to run a boarding house with average stays of between 30 and 45 days. Now that is a very different non-conforming legal use. And our code addresses this question of transitioning from one non-conforming use to a new non-conforming use. The exact language reads, a non-conforming use may not be changed to a different non-conforming use. The code is very clear that Banyan must go before the zoning hearing board to request a variance for a separate non-conforming use. At that stage, it is up to our representatives on the zoning hearing board to determine whether or not to grant an exemption. I also wanted to address a few items that we do not feel are relevant in this discussion. First, the fact that the building is currently operating as in a non-conforming manner is immaterial. Essentially, the building could continue to operate as garden apartments, but it cannot continue to operate as dwelling for transients. Secondly, the use of the immediate surroundings have no bearing on this case. So in other words, the fact that there is a shopping center across the street really is meaningless in this conversation. Third, the fact that Banyan has created their own hardship has no bearing on this case. The code states that a change or amended use for a hardship may not be petitioned if the petitioner was the one creating the hardship. They have created their own problem, essentially, and that fact gives them no special advantage or standing. Lastly, much has been said about patients' rights, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA. To be clear, HIPAA protects information about a patient's illness. HIPAA in no way protects Banyan operating as a for-profit business and has no relevance in this case. I would like to reiterate the fact that our code explicitly requires that Banyan must go before the zoning hearing board. I hope it is abundantly clear to Banyan at this stage that the residents of Crown Street are organized, we are angry, and we will not go away. We will fight this at every stage, tooth and nail, and we will not lose focus, not for a second. The residents of Crown Street have fought and won against business interests before in order to protect our street, and we will continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Kathy Panzita.
Catherine Panzita, Hillcrest Avenue, Morrisville. Tonight I'd like to talk about what I was reviewing your meeting, and you had the nice gentleman from Portnoy come and speak about some of your collections. What I had started is back on March 31st of last year when the refuse fee was added onto the statements with our taxes and sent out. I did come in on March 31st and I paid. And at that time, the tax collector would not take just my taxes or just my refuse. So what I intentionally did that day was I gave the borough 2 checks because I really questioned this coming out in a bill and the tax collector being the source that the borough had authorized to send the bills and change them. And I only did it for a reason. On that day, I also did a right to know, and I requested that I got a copy of your resolution number 980 at the exact same time that the bills were all set. So I set the standard then. So now I come to you because when Mr. Portnoy came, or the gentleman from Portnoy came and explained how you guys had sent over 2 sets of uncollectible refuse bills, I am going to be asking for some right to knows on making sure that I'm hearing that not all of them were turned over. And there was 2 sets. So I'm going to follow up on what exactly everybody did and that everybody was treated equally. I just want to make sure, because I want to know this year, how are we going to get our refuse bill sent to us? Have you made a similar agreement with the tax collector? This is nothing against Catherine Schell. It's nothing against anybody personally. It's procedurally proper and making sure it's straight to the letter of the law. And I sort of questioned it because now if you're going to entertain any relationship with Portnoy on real estate taxes and not go through the tax claim bureau, people have reached out to me. I know people, I call it the rolling 3-year program. And it's going to switch for some people who didn't pay their real estate taxes. If they went in and they were in on that cycle, I do know some people that are having financial problems and they paid their 3rd year. And that's how they keep it out. I am just going to come out and watch it because it really sparked my interest and the interest of people who are having a financial difficulty. If you're going to entertain giving a company 2018's taxes that don't get paid and not go through the same cycle on how these people are. So I just want to be clear and to the point. When I ask that information, I'm not looking after people's names. I'm going to follow through the right to know on whatever median source it was on given to them, follow the letter of the law, and then do my own little audit on trying it. I came to speak today because I do not want to be all over, and I said there's probably a YouTube video tomorrow that we'll be watching. I'm not looking after names. I'm looking after certain situations and seeing if everybody was adequately treated. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Bill Farrell.
Bill Farrell, 347 North Pennsylvania Avenue. First things first, I've been in Morrisville since '74, and the people at Crown Street, I feel sorry for them. I just hope this borough does something and remedies the situation in favor of the residents. First of all, those two ladies that spoke, the older lady, she was chewing gum. The younger one was chewing gum. So I just started, I put a piece of gum in my mouth. I said, I might as well chew gum because I didn't know, I had a little bit of knowledge. And when I left, I didn't even know where I was at because they gave me nothing information. It sounded like somebody was speaking eloquent, but it was facetious because I said, what's going on? My main thing is the police department. I'm here to support the police department in Morrisville, and everybody in this country should protect and support the police departments. You know, there's a lot of nuts running around this country today. And I feel whatever the Morrisville police needs, equipment, new equipment, cars, whatever, you should make it every effort to supply them with what is necessary and make sure that you have enough policemen on the street, whether full-time or part-time, to protect the people in Morrisville. Safety first for the police will improve the safety for the police in this town. So it would behoove you to take care of the police, because I'll be back, because I have a problem when I don't see anything being done right. I'll be back. Whether you like me or not, it doesn't matter. I've been here before and I'll do it again. So good luck to the people of Crown Street, and the people up there, take care of them. They're Morrisvillians like me.
Thank you. Robert Butcher.
Robert Butcher, 810 South Pennsylvania Avenue, Morrisville. There are crossing guard lights in front of my house. That's in the southbound lane, and there's also crossing guard blinking lights on the northbound lane. They're not working. I've called up about them a week and a half ago, nothing. They're still not working. And
can you speak up a little bit, please?
The lights are yellow. It's not stopping the trucks. They're supposed to be for the crosswalk, but now they're not working at all. They would be more effective if they were blinking red when the school kids were crossing. And if they're not going to use the lights, I would appreciate if they would remove them and put them somewhere where they're more needed. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much. And I'm all for the people on Crown Street.
Thank you. John Pastor. See there? John Pastor? No? Okay. Next would be Ted Millard.
Good evening. I am Ted Millard, 868 West Bridge Street. That is the home of Good Friends Incorporated, a licensed substance abuse treatment program that has been there for 40 years. When the council starts talking about substance use and substance abuse, sometimes it's easy to get confused. Your December minutes reflect how many halfway houses are here strewn about the town. There are only 2 halfway houses in Bucks County. They are licensed treatment programs. One is Good Friends, the other is Liberté in Bensalem. What you were referring to, or the person was referring to, are recovery houses, unlicensed programs. So the things that you want in a recovery house, such as monitoring, licensing visits, safety, security, professional help, those are halfway houses. As I said, 2 in Bucks County, Good Friends and Liberté. So as we get into the substance abuse world of Banyan and the others, it's just helpful to use the correct terminology. So a halfway house is a licensed treatment program, whereas I think the person was referring to recovery houses. Here to clarify the difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Jane Berger?
Good evening. Jane Berger, 90 West Maple Avenue. First, thank you for your service, Mr. Pepitone. We'll miss you, but we understand you need to do some different things. Second, I want to thank the borough for actually, I say reformalizing your Tuesday agenda meetings. They aren't ad hoc meetings. They really are bona fide meetings of the Borough Council, and that you're taping them, so that puts you up on the dais. And regarding that, thank you very much for, again, doing the salute to the flag for that meeting. Appreciate that a lot. The other thing I want to speak to tonight is the hiring of the part-time officer that is on your agenda. It's good that council is moving forward with a lot of things for the police department. I know there was a retirement early in the spring, and I guess I was surprised that there wasn't a request to convene civil service earlier in the year, because then you wouldn't have had to do a lot of extra hours for those part-time officers that you had. That could have been absorbed by a police officer who could already be here and out on the street helping to protect the community. We did learn at the meeting last month that there's a budget for part-time officers, $122,000, I believe, and you can have up to 8 part-time officers. And then I listened very carefully to the chief's presentation, and he's looking to hire another part-time officer. But I was surprised to have such a variation of hours among the part-time officers, where there's one that's a shift a month, whatever. And obviously, having been on council many years, we know sometimes it's difficult to keep part-timers. They like to go full-time somewhere else. But it was also interesting to find at that meeting that we had just lost a part-time officer who had gone somewhere else. And I guess finally, as echoing Mr. Farrell in terms of the safety of the community, when we're hiring officers, it's imperative that we hire officers that are going to be on patrol on the street doing police work. The chief had mentioned regarding this particular hire that he would be doing administrative tasks and doing grant writing and doing some other things. As a part-time officer, I'm not sure that leaves him much time to be on the street doing patrol work. If there is a need for that, beyond, I mean, there are 2 excellent professional clerical staff in the police department. I don't know what all they do, or if they could take on some of these things, or if there's someone else that needs to be done, and I'm sure that the chief will provide you with more particular information of what those needs are and how they may be met with borough staff, or if there's a different type of position that really should be used for grant writing rather than a patrol officer. So as you consider that individual, or whoever the individual is going to be hired, to be clear that that officer is going to be able to be out on the street to take care of the health, welfare, and safety of our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. First, apologize, Mr. Schaefer. I forgot you in between that list there, so please step forward there.
No offense taken. Jim Schaefer, 10 Manor Lane North in Lower Makefield. For those who do not know me, or who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, I am the president of Morrisville Little League. I've been so since October. In October, I, myself and the board of Morrisville Little League submitted a proposal to council that we felt was a positive step. It was a great way to begin a new and healthy relationship, a new board, and a new president. I came back in November in public comment to, again, address some issues that were raised by council in hope of clarifying them. I had also, at that point in time, turned over our rosters, to my knowledge, that had never been done before. really, we're just trying to build a bridge with a new council and with a new board in Morrisville Little League. I understand the relationship in the past had been strained to some degree, and that there was a lot of adversarial remarks and or comments made. I was sincere in October that I wanted to begin anew. It's now February, and we're on the eve of a new season. And I, more than anything, wanted before this time to be able to sit with council and to go over our proposal and to discuss the future of our working relationship. And we're getting into the 11th hour now. Over the last few weeks, I've had the pleasure of working with Mr. Scott Mitchell, who's sitting before us here as borough manager. During those negotiations, Morrisville Little League has paid $10,000 to the borough of Morrisville for 2016 and 2017 seasons. Again, another gesture I feel on our part that is going towards building a better and stronger relationship. We've assembled an agreement, Mr. Mitchell and I know that council will be presented that agreement this evening. I'm asking council to accept this agreement and to preserve the league that has been a huge part of this community since 1952. It's a great thing for kids. It's a great thing for the community, great thing for the sponsors in the community, and I hope that it meets your favor. Thank you.
Thank you. Holly Harmon.
Good evening, Holly Harmon, South Pennsylvania Avenue. Just wanted to share a conversation when this banyan all kind of came to light. I reached out and spoke to Susan on the phone probably 2 or 3 weeks before the council meeting. And I'll share that she had explained to me that everybody that's working in there has to have a minimum of a master's degree to work in that facility. This is her words. And that there would be a full-time psychiatrist on staff, and that they would be using Vivitrol, which is basically a long-acting Narcan that prevents the cravings for the drug. So we spoke for about a half an hour, and when I was here for that presentation, I don't believe any of that stuff was discussed. And again, I thought I knew more from her conversation, which obviously was not true, than I did when I was at the meeting when I left, because it just sucked it right out of my brain, because it was just, it was amazing. So I just wanted to share you with that, because I had, like I said, about a half an hour conversation with her prior to this all coming to council. I wanted to thank Justin for putting together that nice timeline about the history of all the discussions with Little League. It made it very easy to read and, understand the history of what the discussions had been for the last 4 years. So it was very helpful. I'm going to ask a lot of you, Scott. I know that you've been, kicking butt up there. When we post minutes, is it possible to make it a searchable PDF? I know other boroughs and townships have where you could just type in the word taxes and it'll bring up every mention of taxes in any set of minutes. I find that helpful. I mean, I'm just thinking of that because Justin probably had to read through a bunch of stuff and just extrapolate it, so I know that it's possible to have searchable PDFs.
I don't know the answer to that question, but
just want to throw it out there.
Look into it.
Okay. And finally, Bill, sorry to see you go. We've enjoyed your company here. You've been a big help to the borough, and it's going to be big shoes to fill. Thanks.
Thank you. And Corey Martin.
Good evening, Corey Martin, 205 Stockham Avenue. First, I want to thank you all for serving on Borough Council. I know it's not an easy task. I'm here to give my opinion about the Morrisville Little League. And hearing this gentleman, it sounds like you guys may be close to an agreement. I hope that's true. To be fair, my boy plays on the Little League. He's played since he was 4. He's now 11. He's not all-star material. He's not travel material. He plays in the interleague, and he enjoys it very much. My daughter played t-ball for about 2 years, and she liked to throw the bat, so she is on mandatory retirement. That being said, I'm coming to you as a resident of Morrisville. I don't know anyone on the board. I'm not coming as an advocate for Morrisville Little League. I, as a resident, think that that Little League does so much good in this community. Just to walk down and see the park, you see it filled with families and kids, and that's a good thing. And I personally am asking you to waive the late fees, but it sounds like they already paid them, and to not charge them any fees. Work with them, but by working with them, see the good that we can do. I've only lived here 15 years. I love this borough, but I've heard the stories from residents about how hard it is for us to recover from when the steel mill closed. So you guys are tasked with trying to figure out how we build us up again, how our economy gets going again. You got to think outside the box, because factories, unfortunately, are not coming back yet. Who knows if they will in the future. But I think work with the Little League. I think it was Ms. Smith, somebody said something about a mini Fedway on the last meeting. And I think you said, well, we don't want to be a Williamsport. I say, why not? Why not work with them and host tournaments, bring families in, work with this business association. I played softball in the Midwest growing up, and you would have hours to sit around waiting. Hey, you can go bowl at Delmore Lanes. You can walk there. I bet all of our restaurants would deliver there. I think it's a way to look outside the box and work with them and build it up. Ms. Dreisbach, I heard you say they need to remove the T-ball field on the agenda meeting. And I try really hard to go to Morrisville events. I've been to the Easter egg hunt, the picnic, the drug awareness walk, the color run, the Jazz Fest, and National Night Out. And of those, you guys tell me if I'm missing something, because I'll go. 2, maybe, the Color Run and National Night Out have enough people that interfere with that ball field. And they do a pretty good job of working it around. That's 2 nights. The T-ball fields, go down there one Saturday. There's 4- and 5-year-olds running around like crazy, having a blast. And yes, if we take that field away, we can still play, but then you're pushing your T-ball games into the afternoon. And my 4-year-old threw the bat, so keeping anyone's attention at that age is hard, but then pushing them into the afternoon makes it even harder. So I would ask that you not make them remove the T-ball field and work with them, but work at seeing the good that we can get from that Little League. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the public comments part of the meeting is closed at this point. We're going to go on to the approval of our minutes. Okay. All right. What we're going to do is I'm sorry. Approve the minutes 6A and 6B. Can I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Anybody have any questions or comments on the December 12th, 2017 minutes or the January 9th, 2018 minutes?
I just want to thank the borough for adjusting the errors that were escalated.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, can we have a roll call on that, please?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, the finance, 7A is treasury report.
Yeah, there is no treasurer's report. The assistant treasurer is here if you have any questions about the financial statements.
I have a question on 2252, page number 4, GL 1801, and it's more of a just what was it for? The Sanders Power Equipment Company. Looks like parts. Looks like something we fixed something. I'm just curious as to what piece of equipment were expenses. Yep.
I'm sorry, the page number again?
Page 4, GL 1801 and 2252. Okay, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, we'll look into that and get back to you. I don't recognize it off the top of my head.
Thank you. And I have one other that I can put together. We have, it looks like, so at the bottom of the same page, the street lighting fix for 4473, and on page 6, looks like
Armor, Sun, and Electric. I'm wondering if either of these were part of the lighting contract? So there's $4,473 there and $2,971 on page 6.
I don't think so, no.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I have a couple questions. Page 4, GL 1801, vendors 2091 Rudolph Clark for legal services. Last month I had asked about another invoice for Rudolph Clark and was told it might have been a duplicate.
Right, correct. Actually, two of their bills were very close together. That was my mistake. They were both for a right to know request. That was not a duplicate.
Okay, so the new one that's on the bill list for this month for Rudolph Clark, is this also for a right to know?
I don't believe there are any right to knows on that one. Not on the top of my head, I don't believe so, no.
I'm sorry, page 4.
Isn't that for advertising the latest position?
No.
I don't, but I can check. That might be for the Civil Service Commission meeting.
Okay. And then I had another one, I'm sorry. Where did it go? I lost my page, I'm sorry. Oh. I did have another one. It's for $1,500, I believe. What is, sorry, page 1 of GL 1802, what is Tango?
That has something to do with the police department. I'm actually not sure.
Okay.
Tango is what relates our cars, car computers, and our in-house computers.
Okay, thank you.
$1,500, you have to have it or they don't communicate.
Okay, thank you.
We just didn't know what it was called. Thank you.
Nope.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Nancy, for looking into those for us. Thank you very much. Okay, 7B would be authorization to make budgetary transfers posting in February. We all talked about this during the agenda meeting, and it was to transfer the money over to from one line in the budget over to pay the code enforcing.
Correct.
Right.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
No, it's Eileen.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Wait a second.
Oh,
Aye.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Just for the public's knowledge, since it's not really clear in the motion, this is, as Ms. Smith said, to pay for the outsourced code enforcement company. And just again, for the public's knowledge, just because I think there's some kind of mischaracterizations that are out there. This company is not here full-time. They're here part-time, and we pay them $65 an hour to be here part-time. It looks like they were here for roughly 20 days, and for that, they are charging us $11,057.50. I had a couple of questions about this. At our January agenda meeting, it was stated that in order to offset this cost to the borough, we were going to pay this company to create a new fee schedule, which would increase the fees, again, to offset the cost for this company. And the company was going to charge us $1,500 to create that new fee schedule that would increase the fees. I guess my first question is, has that fee been paid? Because we never voted on that. Was that
I
$1,500 fee
believe
paid?
council did vote to authorize Keystone to proceed with that.
Yes.
I do not believe that has been invoiced yet.
When
And
was that voted
I
on?
believe it's Keystone's intention to provide council with a draft fee schedule at your March meeting.
I would just ask that you double check that because we discussed it at the agenda meeting to vote on it at the council meeting and we never voted on that. So I would just ask if you could just double check on that. Excuse me.
Sure.
But again, just for the public's knowledge, again, this is a company that's not here full time and we're a small, we may be a small borough, but we're a pretty large town with 9,000 residents. And I'm sure every elected official up here has had a person come to them with a code enforcement issue. And there are people that come into the building every single solitary day with a code enforcement issue. So again, to increase the fees to me just seems like it would punish people that want to improve their property. And I don't understand why we would kind of basically go to the residents 3 times for this. We're paying for this company, we're paying for them to create an updated fee schedule, and the residents are paying this updated fee schedule. So they're either going to have to pay out of pocket more to improve their property, or they're just not going to improve their property. So that's just my opinion.
Madam
Just
President,
if I may clarify, Madam President, the fee schedules for zoning and building permit fees, code enforcement complaints, there are no applicant fees to offset those costs.
Correct.
Permits.
Right.
Right.
And if I may, Madam President?
Yes, you may.
And I believe I brought this up in the last regular meeting. I believe it was last regular meeting.
Last week, yes.
Okay. That when you take into consideration the fees that were paid to offset those costs, I think it came out to roughly $4,500, not $11,000 that the taxpayers paid for that service. And it's being done very professionally and fairly right now.
I'd like to also comment that just based on some brief math I did at the agenda meeting, of those $11,000, about 60% of that is for UCC inspections, which were outsourced previously as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. All right, we were on the 7B.
Is there a motion to approve?
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the authorization to make the budgetary transfer postings in February per the schedule provided? Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
We had the motion.
Okay. I'm sorry?
She was just asking a question.
Oh, we already, okay. All right. Then can we have a roll call on that one, please? 7B, yes.
Yes.
Yes. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
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 Motion passes 6-2. Next motion is 7C, motion to approve the bill list and pay the bills. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any other comments on this? We mentioned some things, but anybody else have anything else for this? No? Okay, can we have a roll call on that, please?
Wait, is he going to read the bill list?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're going to read the bills?
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on reading the bills.
Do you want? Do you want to?
Do you want they're in front of you? Do you want them read?
Yeah, you should read the list. Do you want to still read the list?
If you'd like me to read the list, I'd be happy to.
That would be awesome.
General Fund, $171,456.75. Street Lighting Fund, $10,208.09. Fire Fund, $2,202.74. Library Fund, $3,698.31. Recreation Fund, $5,151.63. Sinking Fund, $2,809.10. Street Fund, $5,052.32. EMS Fund, $220.48. State Highway Fund, $7,723.64, with several zero categories. Borough of Morrisville, $1,463.54. Borough of Morrisville, $215.16. MEAC these are a bunch of zeros too. Agostino Foods Escrow, $1,507.50. Bridge Street Canal Trail Project, $10,203.99, for a total of $221,913.25.
Thank you. Okay.
No, but it can be. I mean, there's copies of them out there.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. And we had a motion and a second, I believe? No. Okay. All right. Any other?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Okay, next is 7D, approval of resolution authorizing the borough to obtain a credit line of $250,000. I believe everybody received their that tonight. Can I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
Mike and Eileen. Okay, any questions or comments on that?
If I may?
Sure.
I just want to thank the borough for putting together the resolution. It's pretty clear that any usage of it is going to be for emergency purposes and require the council's approval. So it's not something that's just going to be out there for regular use. I think it's a good preventative action step to ensure that if there's ever an emergency, it's available for us.
Mm-hmm. And it does require a minimum of 3 signatures on there to release those funds, and goes before the council first for pre-approval, so everyone knows. Anyone else?
Just to clarify, it does state that it can only be accessed upon a prior vote. Is that just a majority, or does that have to be a unanimous vote of council?
It
Just a
says
simple majority?
before a public meeting, so it'll be majority of the council.
Simple majority, okay.
Anyone else? Okay. Have roll call, please.
Councilman Bowers?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garza? Yes. Councilwoman Cotton?
No.
Councilwoman Larison?
Yes.
Councilman Parker?
No.
Councilman Pepitone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. I'm sorry, 6-2. Oh, jeez. Next, we're going to reports. A is the manager's report.
Thank you. Good evening. The first item I have for you this evening is, of course, Jim alluded to it earlier during public comment, is our current status with the Morrisville Little League. In your folders this evening is the latest draft of a plan to address terms and conditions between the borough and the Morrisville Little League for the 2018 through 2020 seasons. Is there any comment or discussion? That might be your job.
Madam President?
Yes, Madam President, sorry.
That's okay.
Madam President, may I?
Sure.
Thanks. And I know I say a lot. So I want to thank both Scott Mitchell and Morrisville Little League for wrapping their heads around this thing. It looks to me like there was, we're closer than we've probably ever been. I do believe there might be still a little bit of work to do, but at the end of the day, as you can see here from the residents of Morrisville, rules are important. We want to make sure that people are abiding by the rules and we're holding all people accountable, and doing that in a fair, even manner to ensure that we're not discriminating and we're not giving preferential treatment because we approve more of one activity than another. rules are very, very important right now to us, and there's clearly a movement to get us to a place where we're being fair and orderly. But I thank both parties, and I'm actually amazed with the amount of work that was put into this. And I thank you both, and I think we're really, really close.
Okay. Anyone else?
The only thing that I do not agree with is doing 2 years. I think it should be renewed every year. Other than that,
It's actually a 3-year.
I'm sorry, 3 years. Sorry.
18, 19, 20.
18, 19, 20. I think it should be renewed every year because I know with the Little League Board, sometimes they change in October, sometimes they don't. So I think it's something that should be signed on a yearly basis. Just so if something happens where Jim is no longer president, the next president coming in understands the rules. That's just my thing. I just think it should be every year that this agreement is, I'll back over.
I guess point of order, is this like, should we be having that in-depth discussion about the contract?
Well, if I could just say, we just literally got this tonight. I don't even know what's in it. I haven't even read it yet. So just to let everybody know, I wasn't planning on putting something up here tonight since we're just actually receiving this. So I won't vote on something I'm just receiving tonight and having a chance to look it over. But yeah, I can see that something's been going back and forth. We haven't had time to take a look at it, but I appreciate you getting together with Mr. Mitchell, and we'll take a look at that.
May I
Sure.
add to the comments? With regard to what Councilwoman Larison was suggesting, there's part of the plan is that we would have a informal meet and greet with the board of directors of the league at your next agenda meeting on the 13th, an hour prior at 6:30 in this room, and that part of the agreement would also include that be done on an annual basis in October, right after the new Little League board is installed. That way you're always up to date on who the new leadership is of the Little League, without having to go fishing for, who the right people are. So they're the last two bullet points on the list. Again, the goal to improve communication and relations between the two organizations.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Do you have anything more with your report?
I do, yes. The next item I have on my list is at your next meeting, you've probably noticed some activity at the MR Writer School. There's asbestos abatement going on there as we speak, and we'll have a demolition, more detailed demolition status available for you at your next meeting.
Thank you.
A council member, in fact, I believe it was Mr. Yeager, had asked about prior year recycling grant data. Since there's an agenda item related to that, this was discussed at the agenda meeting. So there is a packet that was in your folders showing prior year recycling performance grant data for the borough, if you have any questions about that. At the March meeting, we'll be introducing the new finance director to you at that time. And there is a late starter, which was just handed out to you on the dais tonight. It's actually a memorandum from the MMA. If I could turn your attention to that briefly. The MMA is looking for some direction from the borough as to if we would participate with them and do some cost sharing on some road repaving, mainly for purposes of and there's an outline there of the streets they are looking at. This is in coordination with their Crown and Stockham water main project. My apologies, you're just getting this tonight, but I was just handed the folder as the meeting was starting. So if you would like to digest this, and we can discuss this at the next agenda meeting if you'd like. But I think the MMA is probably looking for some direction prior to a month from now. So if it's something you're interested in entertaining, we should probably discuss it tonight.
Okay. Take a moment to take a look at this real quick.
Madam President?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
As Chair of the MNA, may I speak for a minute?
Sure.
I know just getting something is not a good way to look at it. The MMA, unfortunately, due to the flu and other things, had to reschedule their monthly meeting from last Thursday to tomorrow night on Wednesday, where we'll have a quorum present. So perhaps if you want to look it over and come to the meeting tomorrow night and maybe have a dialogue with the MMA about the proposal. Not to put, I don't like putting anybody on the spot for anything that you've just received, but that's an opportunity. And from that, maybe an action might be your agenda meeting in March, so we can talk about timelines if there's something in that that appeals to you. We are looking for a partnership in paving, because we have to do paving of several streets, and there may be a way to the borough to piggyback on with some streets you need to do with a cost savings. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
If I remember correctly, I believe John Warrenda told me the total would be about $50,000, so that would be shared 50-50 with the borough if we were interested in joining forces with them on this.
Yeah. I know we've been talking about doing a partnering with this their road program, so it sounds like a good idea. I think everyone just needs to look this stuff over and then give a decision on it. But I think it's a great idea. It's a good way to start getting some of these done.
Sorry, just to clarify, you said they're looking for roughly $25,000 from there.
Yes, they're looking for. Oh, sorry, I thought that was mine.
Doesn't look like
approximately $25,000 in cost sharing from the borough.
Okay.
And I'm sure we probably have money in our liquid fuels that can be used for that, correct? Could we use some from there? Can we use that towards that type of a?
I would have to check that. Certainly any project we do with liquid fuels would require PennDOT pre-approval.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we can do curbing as part of a water main project. I'd have to double check that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Do you know if this is something that our public works would partake in, or is this something that would have to be bid out?
I believe this water main project is contracted out by the MMA and is being managed by their engineer at Pignoni.
Yeah, I think this is piggybacking onto their whole project they're doing. Yeah,
So yes, all the costs would be external. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I have.
Oh wait, just we also have a resolution. Are you going to discuss that? This resolution for the landfill?
Oh, that's part of the solicitor's report.
Oh, apologies. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so we're done with this.
I have one comment, Debbie.
Sure.
Scott, I'd just like to see some more breakdown of these costs, because the only thing I see is $10,000, $5,000, and a full project value of $1.3 million. So
yes,
maybe if
we were intending to proceed, the borough engineer would have to look at this and would come up with full-blown cost estimates. This is top of the trees.
Okay. Yeah, because I'd like to see, looks like there's 6 different streets. I'd like to hopefully maybe have a menu. If we can't afford all, maybe we can just do some.
Okay. All right, so we'll get back to the MMA with that as soon as possible.
And the engineer's report was provided in writing if you'd like to refer to that later. But he was at your last meeting, gave a pretty detailed update.
Okay.
I believe that's on our website too, correct? His report?
I don't know. Is his
I don't know
report?
if the engineer's report is on the website. I'll have to check that.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the solicitor's report?
So it helps. Good evening, Council. Corinne, you were talking about the Morrisville landfill. Apparently, this has been kicking around since 2003, 2007. I don't know. And what happened was that the previously executed deed conveying about approximately 10.8 acres to the redevelopment authority took place December 20th of 2007. It was referred to in the old days as the Morrisville landfill, quote unquote. The council approved it many, many years ago. And there was a deed by resolution dated April 21st of 2003. You can't even make this stuff up. And believe it or not, the original deed was being held by the law firm of Begley, Carlin, and Mandio, LLP, for safekeeping. However, they couldn't be located. And as a result, the deed was never filed. So this has been in purgatory, limbo, a legal quicksand nightmare, whatever you want to call it, for, depending on how many years you're talking about, well, at least over 20 years, or over 10 years, 10 to 18 years, approximately. And all we're asking tonight is that we're resolving that the Council of the Borough of Morrisville hereby ratifies and approves the conveyance of tax parcel 24-012-081, consisting of those same 10.85397 acres from Morrisville Borough to the redevelopment authority. And that's what's on the agenda for it. I need a motion for council if you're so interested in having this approved.
That just cleans it up.
Yeah, this cleans up. This hopefully cleans up. Okay, here's what's going to happen. We're going to mail this back. If council approves, we're going to send it back to them. And hopefully this time, a lawyer or law firm for them will actually file it and make it official.
This is like a bar exam question. I had a question.
It is.
It's a wild deed. It says here for nominal consideration. I just want to make sure that.
It's $1. Yes,
Got it.
Yeah. We're not.
Can I ask one question also?
Sure.
With the original agreement back in 2003, it was stipulated in there that there would be between 1 and 2 acres that would be open space for the borough. Is that still going to be in
Yes.
the same
Yes.
wording? Okay.
Nothing has changed.
Okay.
The only thing that it just never was filed.
Okay.
I
Thank
can't
you.
explain it.
All right.
Can't explain it.
So it's just reaffirming the sale of the deed?
Where you're reaffirming what a previous council did many years ago. Correct.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Would the council like to have this added tonight?
Yes.
Under new business?
Can we do
Can
it
we do it
now?
now? Okay.
So moved.
Second.
The only thing we need is a resolution number, which I don't have because I wasn't sure what number we were up to.
Okay.
I'll let, you'll do it. You'll put the numbers on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else have anything else about this? I think it's pretty clear as to what it was
Point of
for.
order, don't we need to
I'm
open it up for public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Your motion, your second first.
They did that. They did that. So, yes. Anyone from public comment want to come up and speak about this or on this?
Also, just to clarify, I don't know if it's clear. This is the Cloverleaf property.
Yes, it is.
So-
Yes. Most people think of it as a landfill.
South Pennsylvania Avenue,
yes.
the old Cloverleaf Diner, was there many, many years ago.
I'm only 4 years old here.
Oh, that's all right.
You know
It's
where the
basically
Morrisville
across the
Cemetery
street from the
is?
cemetery.
It's across from
It's right
the
across the
cemetery.
street from the Morrisville Cemetery.
Yeah. Okay. If we have a roll call on it then, please. Yes.
Where are we doing that?
They nobody want to comment. Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that the property that Pazinanti Foods wanted
Yes.
to develop?
Yes.
Are they still interested?
Oh, yes. This has come up during their proceedings, yes. Mhm.
Okay.
The RDA realized it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, I mean, we have the agreement of sale, we have all the paperwork, we have the resolutions, we have everything. It's just reaffirming that it was sold to them and there was a deed that was to be filed. So it's just reaffirming that today. Thanks. Okay. Is that everyone? Okay. Now we'll do the roll call. Yeah. Thanks.
Councilman Bauer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garza?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cronwell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Larison?
Yes.
Councilman Parker?
Yes.
Councilman Pipitone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
And Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Okay, passes 8-0. Thanks, everyone. Okay, back to the reports then. Mayor's report. Oh, were you done? I'm sorry. Were you done? The solicitor, I'm sorry.
I think I am now.
Okay. I'm sorry. So sorry.
Caught me by surprise.
You're done. Okay. Now, Mr. Mayor, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Let's see. At the beginning of the month, I attended a ribbon cutting ceremony for a new business in our borough. It was called Sarah Elizabeth Hair and Color Bar. It's located in the Morrisville Shopping Center. Sarah has done amazing things with the space, and I'd like to encourage everyone to stop by and check it out. Okay. Also, Chief McClay and I met with Steve Knoll. He's from the TMA. Steve had reached out to me and said he would like to meet. And Steve is currently the acting director. If you're not familiar with TMA Bucks, they deal with transportation, safety, and service issues in Bucks County. I've known Steve for many years. He's actually been very helpful in the past for Morrisville. The next thing, you've heard me say this before, but I'm going to throw it out there again. As in the past, I'm asking for a little bit more transparency. We are in February, and it's my understanding there's been 3 executive sessions, most recent one being last night. I personally wasn't given notification about the exec sessions or received the resumes from the applicants for the manager position. Moving forward, I just request that to please receive all correspondence that the other elected officials receive. If there's knowledge that we're going to have an exec session, I'd like to be notified. And it's not just for me. I think, like I said in the past, when everyone knows that there's going to be an exec session, it helps everyone either grab files, prepare, that type of thing. And lastly, canal cleanup. There's going to be cleanups as happen every year. The 2018 canal cleanup will be April 7th at 9 o'clock. We always meet across from Burns Pharmacy. We'll see. Hopefully the weather cooperates. No matter what, you still seem to get a little muddy and dirty, but it's a good effort. And we bring more attention to this as we get closer. Same with the river cleanup and the Greystones cleanup. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you very much. Next will be Police Chief McClay.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Tonight, I ask you again to approve the hiring of a part-time officer, Ed Radlow. We have 6 part-time officers. That will give us 7. One of our officers will be leaving very shortly. He's being hired by Upper Makefield. So we will go to 7, we'll be back to 6. This is an ongoing process trying to keep part-time officers here. They're all looking for full-time spots, and once they get it, they go. So I will continue doing that. The question that was by Ms. Berger, Sheets mentioned about, and so did Councilman Bowers, about what I mentioned at the last meeting about this gentleman doing different business for the police department. The reason why I said that was just to show you the multi-talent that this gentleman does have, having a master's degree in finance. That they're the things that I will lean on him and talk to him about and go for advice, as well as some of our officers will too. Because if you remember back 3 years ago, my officers got a 457 plan. My guys all need financial advice. And a gentleman that comes in with this kind of talent, you have to lean on. All my officers are asked to do different things. And this is something that he'll be asked to, you know, if I ask him to read over a document or throw some nice words into a grant, that's what he's going to be doing. But he will be 99.9% of the time on the road. He is not a business person coming in to run my police department. That is not happening. So I respectfully request that you hire him. And as we go into the future, I will try to get you resumes at your agenda meeting, but we will continually hire part-time officers. This is a continual thing. Everybody tonight, hopefully you received the appointment from the governor, naming me the emergency manager. I have, now that I've been appointed that, I am 99% done the emergency operations plan for the borough. But since I'm not 100%, I didn't want to give it to you tonight. Let me finish that. I'll have it to you by the next agenda meeting.
Thank you.
Crime numbers are up here for the public to read. As we are hiring some people, the borough manager, I request my contract be extended. It's in limbo at this point. Vehicles. Did everybody get the Morrisville Police Department vehicle status?
Just tonight we did.
Tonight.
Tonight you did?
Yeah.
I got it yesterday. Excuse me?
I got it yesterday.
Okay. Well, this is the way the fleet now looks. My 2009 Ford Expedition has 95,000 miles on it. That vehicle never had a police package, which means it's not pursuit rated. Okay? The electronics is going in it. The four-wheel drive does not work. The motors, the regulators, the switches, it's a vehicle that we drive basically to and from the school. So that's one of the vehicles that's being traded in. 2007 Crown Vic that I had purchased off of Lower Makefield to get us through the next 3 years has 166,000 miles on it. It's burning oil every week, so it's only a matter of time before I drop an engine into that. And there's different other things in that vehicle that it's not the way our other patrol vehicles are set up. So I like to bring those up to the standards. You can read the rest of the mileages that we have. What we planned on, if everybody remembers back to 3 years ago, we spoke about a plan. And the plan was that every 3 years, we would be buying 3 more vehicles, staying under the budget of that $40,000 that we were going to do. And we are going to be under that $40,000. So we buy 3 new vehicles every 3 years, and we continually swap these vehicles out, keeping them on a pretty well of a good standard. We're not there yet. That was our first thing that we did 3 years ago, and that was the plan. It was very specific about that. We sat down and had a long conversation at our finance meeting about the vehicles. And I said, if we're putting $40,000 in the capital purchase line item, and that I was going to be using that for vehicles. I'm coming back to you now and asking you to let me use that line item to buy the vehicles. And there's a lot of things you got to consider when we're purchasing vehicles. Your police vehicles out there are one of the most visible things about your borough government that people see. You want to see a 2007 Crown Vic, a vehicle that could have, tags on it that's, not even, make it a custom old vehicle. We can't have old vehicles out there like that. We have to get rid of them. Officer safety is a huge part. Mr. Pepitone, remember back to the academy?
I do, sir.
Okay. Officer pulls the car over. The bad guy sizes up the vehicle, sizes up the officer. How do they look? Do they look professional? Are they in shape? Are their equipment up to date? Can I take this guy out? So if you're putting hoopties on the street and my guys aren't looking professional, this is an officer safety problem. Next, these are these officers' offices for 12 hours a day. These vehicles are getting old. If you want to see the vehicles, please stop in. I'll show you what that Expedition looks like. You guys want to drive it. So I'm asking you, this was put into the budget for a reason. When we talked about this plan 3 years ago, I'm very considerate of the budget. Ms. Smith, you've complimented me over and over and over again about how I deal with the budget. All the way back to a point that you said 2 or 3 months ago, maybe you should give a lesson to the rest of council about the budget.
That was the first year I was here, and yeah, our manager wasn't good at it. Yeah. I will say this, though. We have different recollections as to that plan that you're talking about, and we've been going back and forth about it. I remember distinctly council back and forth when it was that 3 at one time, buying them all with the lease purchasing. There was debate back and forth about all the coverages would expire at the same time. President at that time didn't want to do it. We were back and forth. I remember supporting that at that time, if you remember, because Cornerstone had bleeded a lot of money out of the police department, and there weren't any vehicles bought for several years. Because when that money was put in the line item, back before you even came, it was set up that every year a car would have availability of money be purchased. So it was a constant recycle of changing one car up a year. Oldest car with the most mileage went off the road and a new one came in, so that we'd make sure we constantly kept them going. That was a one-time thing that we said we were going to do. I don't remember ever, any of us saying that we were going to continue to do every three. Not to say you're not going to give us a list of what you have with your vehicles as far as their mileage and things like that, but I've never been under the assumption this was something that was going to happen every 3 years, that 3 brand new ones, and we didn't have any data until tonight on that. But that's how the program was set up. It wasn't set up the way you're saying. I just want to clarify that for myself.
Well, it was the plan. It was a plan, and it was put out that this is what I want to do every 3 years. Whether everybody said, "Sure, George, this is what you can do," or not, I don't know that. But this was a plan. So at this point, can I ask you what the difference of we're putting $40,000 in that capital purchase fund, correct? It's there, and we have done that for the last 3 years, and it has worked very well. By swapping the 3 cars out. Now I swapped 3 more out, and I got 3 brand new ones, and we put $40,000 in it next year, and we do $40,000 the following year. But I have 3 new cars on the street, as well as 3 that are in very good shape. Puts the police department in a very good spot for vehicles, as compared to doing 1. So I do 1, and I buy that. Everybody drives that thing. That's going to be through that warranty within a year. As compared to the 3 vehicles that we had, they're just running out of warranty for 3 years. They just ran out within the last couple of weeks. So that works out very well for the maintenance of these vehicles. Remember back when I came here, there was no such thing as maintenance on vehicles. So we were able to keep these other cars running. So if I only get 1.
I'm sorry.
No, I was agreeing with the chief. There was no warranty. And
No maintenance.
Oh, yeah, no maintenance, yeah.
We're agreeing with you on something.
So if I only get 1 at this point, 2 of these cars are going to be dead within the next, I'll be lucky if I get 3 months out of them. So now I'm down 2 more cars, plus the ones already sitting in Sanford's lot that's up on bricks that we're using to fix the last Crown Vic that I'll have. So the idea is that you get the 3 vehicles, they stay within warranty for 3 years, and you have no issues. Have we heard anything over the last 3 years? Have I come to you? Has anybody come to you about a police vehicle problem? We haven't, because this system that we're going to do and have done works very, very well. And I have to ask you, if we're going to be spending 1 a year, isn't a very good idea. Not at all. You're going to be through that warranty within a year, and then we're going to be in the same, so we're going to it's almost like managed by emergency as compared to managed by planning.
Have you talked to the manager about this several times, I think?
I have.
In January, February?
And Scott has been yes and no, and so.
Okay. Administrative wise, okay.
But these are, but I'm not asking Scott about how to maintain my vehicles. I know how to maintain the vehicles. I know how to keep the fleet looking nice, and that's part of your reputation within everybody that drives through Morrisville.
Madam President, can I ask a couple questions?
Sure.
Thank you. So, Chief, so I'm going to go back to the part-time hire, and I'm going to clarify my position in the last time we saw this come up. And I'll mirror the comments from the public on this. It was presented as somebody, as you said, that can do much more than just police. But you specified grants and budget. So the reason why I voted no was because when I think budget, and I know, and you're good with the budget, so I'm going to say you understand the need to be doing the budget from June through November, because we shouldn't be sitting here on New Year's Eve going, should we pass the budget or not, right?
No, I don't agree with that.
No?
We should be doing the budget from January 1 to December 31st.
Sure. But you're prepping next year. Well, you need the data, right? So you don't have the data yet to be able to make those decisions for next year, right?
Correct.
So by June, you have some data that you can work with, right?
Yes.
Okay. So to me, when I heard that, I'm going, well, how much can a part-timer be on the street if they are? But if you're saying 99.9% of the time, that's a different story for me. That's not what I heard in the last time it was presented.
That was the interpretation I think you took from it.
Right.
But isn't it nice to have talent like that, that you can bounce things back and forth off of? That's right. The guy that's been in a professional stockbroker, financial guy, he's something I go, hey, can you take a peek at this to see if I'm missing something?
Sure, as long as they have the skills to do the main part of their job as well, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. All right, so the next piece I want to talk about is the vehicles. Sorry about that, guys. So I received a copy of the memo, $115,000, 3 trucks, debt into the 3rd year, right? So we're tying a new council into a $40,000 amount that we don't know that they're going to be okay with, right? Because it would be a new council, correct? So it would be this year, next year, and the following year, $40,000 apiece, right?
Just like we did the first time, yes.
Right. For me, not putting that in front of council for a vote, I have an issue with, because what was in the memo was accept the idea that we're going to put a new council in debt by $40,000 without any say. So that was the first thing I noticed about that, and I don't have it in front of me, and I wish I did. The memo, I believe, said something about swapping out your car and putting your car into service.
Yes.
Okay. And why is it okay to put your car in the service, but it's not okay for you to be driving? Is it more suitable for service than it is for personal use?
Nothing in there about that in the memo.
That's why I'm asking.
No.
Okay.
My car's fine.
Your car's fine.
It has 70,000 miles on it, but I like to put an unmarked vehicle into the fleet so they can use it, because what's the biggest complaint I get from everybody?
Not enough patrolling?
No, traffic. People are speeding, people are doing this. I want to put an unmarked vehicle out there, but I got to do it. I got to upfit it so it has everything that a regular vehicle has that's on the street.
So instead of taking one of these vehicles and making it the unmarked vehicle, you want to take your vehicle, make that the unmarked vehicle, and take a new vehicle for your personal use. I just want to make sure that I'm clear on that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Not just my personal use.
Well, for cut back and forth to work.
No, and patrolling.
Okay. Go ahead.
And going to meetings and everything else. Yes, that is used as a police vehicle. That is not my personal vehicle. It's assigned to me. That is a police vehicle. It's assigned to me.
Okay. Fair enough. It's the terminologies. It's the one that you're going to be using, right?
Yes.
But we're not going to be, we don't patrol with that car, correct?
Oh,
you
yeah,
patrol?
I do.
Okay.
All the time.
Okay. So then why, if it's still going to be used for the same purpose, do we need that additional car? I guess that's why, you follow what I'm saying? So you're saying that you have a vehicle that's fine for use right now, right? So what is that additional car for?
I need a fleet. I need so many vehicles in a fleet to be able to hand parades, races, things like that. So you have to maintain enough vehicles. So what I'm doing is the car that will be assigned to me will be a new car. My car will be upfitted a little bit so it can go out on patrol. And it can be done as an unmarked vehicle.
So I guess where I'm a little bit stuck is I don't understand why we're upgrading a vehicle that's already being used for patrolling. So you're saying you have to upfit it for this new thing, right? So you're going to be using it for something else. You're upfitting it, but it's already okay and being used for your vehicle for patrol. I guess I'm not understanding why we have to upfit something that's already in good working order and being used properly in the way it's supposed to be used. Why aren't we taking a new vehicle and upfitting that for that piece? Why wouldn't we want that new vehicle on the road?
Well, they'll all be on the road. It was always part of the plan to mix the chief's car into the rotation. It's all about moving forward was having new cars in the rotation, balancing the mileage. And, it is a police vehicle. And
But we're upfitting something we currently have to fit to fit a role that a new car could fit.
Well, the new car also is going to be outfitted to, so you're still paying to have that.
But then if you do that, you don't have to upfit the old car. You already have a car that's in service. So what you're doing is you're spending money on a new car, on an old car. You're upfitting it when you could just upfit the new car and keep the existing car where it is, because as I'm being told, it's in good working order. So all we're saying is, why are we spending the additional money to upfit that car if it's already in proper use?
I think the chief feels it's cheaper because it already has twice the mileage in other cars. So that's why they want it on the street.
It's cheaper to put money into a car that's already in use.
The vehicle that is assigned to me has 75,000 miles on it. Okay, so if we keep that into the rotation, by the time that rotates up again, it's going to be at 150,000 miles. Then I'll be driving just like that. Remember the vehicle I drove when I first got here? That there was holes in the floor, and it'll wear out by then. Huh?
Nobody wants that for you.
Right, but that's where it'll get to. So what'll happen is that'll be put into the fleet to do special assignments. So when people call me about the trucks flying down Pennsylvania or going through the school zone at 50 miles an hour, that car will be put out there as an unmarked car. So it's not going to get the miles that it would that I'm going to put on it. And it doesn't cost you any more to do what I'm talking about as in compared to upfitting a brand new car. You got to upfit a car. My car doesn't get upfitted like that because I don't have the shield in it because I don't carry prisoners. So there's the difference. And I don't have the shotgun rack and the rifle rack in my car. So there's a plan behind all this. It's all well within the budget, and it's very well thought out. And it's well thought out within my officers, too. We sit down and we talk about what's the best way. What do you need in the vehicles? What are you going to take? All these cars I want to look exactly the same inside. So every vehicle, they hit a switch. They know what switch they're hitting. That's why you do as many as you can, and you get them the same. Because every year, the Explorers come out, they're different. And here's another thing that just happened to us. We had recalls on those last 3 cars that we bought. All of them had the same recalls. They all went in the Fred B, and they all get done at the same time. It's just another thing of being efficient. But the thing is, it's all underneath the budget. I scratch my head when I go, guys, this is what's been working. The system's working well. We're planning ahead. Let's plan ahead and let's make it look good.
And my concern still is that it's attached to future budgets. It's not just to this budget. It's attached to future budgets as well.
We did that 3 years ago and it worked out well. Are you expecting that 3 years from now that we're not going to, like you're talking about, well, we do a car every year. Mm-hmm. We're going to do a car that year too. And you have to plan these things out. One car at a time is not the way to go. It's really not a good plan. So I ask you, this has been thought out very thoroughly. Like I said, with my officers, the planning of the vehicles, what's going in them, and how the rotation works. It's a very, very well thought out plan. So last thing.
Can I comment on that real quick, Chief?
Yes, sir.
I like that you have a plan. It looks like you presented part of your plan to us tonight. I'm going to be pushing for a capital plan where we look at things over the next 5 years at least. So I hope that when we get to that point later in the year, we get your whole plan on paper so that we can see it and see how it fits into, the money we're going to need in upcoming years too. So we're not just looking at this budget going ahead. I have no problems with this. I like buying it. There was mention that we're going to want to wait till our revenues come in. So we have them in place before we spend it. So I'm not going to have a problem spending this a little down the road once our tax revenues come in. We're sure we have the money. That doesn't go to say for everybody else in council, but I like the idea of the plan. I'd like to see it in writing, and I'd like to have it for us to consider as we do a bigger plan for the whole borough.
You did get this, right?
Okay.
This came out,
Is that dated 2/7/2018?
Yes.
Yes.
You did get that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Did we get it? Last meeting.
Yes.
Last week.
Yes.
So you did get that for the agenda meeting. Okay. In that, it reads, this will be financed over the next 3 years at $39,997 each year starting May 1st, 2018. So what we were going to do was I needed a resolution from everybody to be able to buy these vehicles, not to buy the vehicles, but actually to do the financing. So that's why I asked them to push it back to May 1st. So we can purchase the vehicles, get everything done, and you're not going to have a bill on your desk until May 1st. Just like we did with the last cars. We didn't have to pay those till May 1st. With that in consideration, to wait for the tax money to come in.
I think, unless I'm seeing this wrong, I think what the manager, when he had spoke with you and what I had heard from him was that not to order those until we do get to that point in our budget.
Nothing's ordered.
He's not.
Is that what you're saying?
Nothing is ordered.
Financing.
Okay.
This is all the plan.
Okay.
This is the financing plan. These are about the vehicles. Everything's in here.
Mm-hmm.
But what I said was, and Scott came to me and said, George, we don't have the money to do this now. I said, I agree with you. That's why I'm pushing the payment off until May 1st. Mm-hmm. So every year we will owe that money on May 1st. Mm-hmm. Why we did, and that was the plan that we did last time. Mm-hmm. We didn't have to do that till May 1st, waiting for the tax money to come in. Mm-hmm. So it's all.
How soon after May 1st would you take delivery?
We could take delivery on the vehicles now, and you don't get the bill till May 1st.
Oh, okay.
The vehicles are sitting over Fred Beans. But until the financing gets done. Mm-hmm. So if you guys sign, I'm not even asking you because I know you don't have an agenda before you. If you signed it tonight, that could be over to the finance committee, company tomorrow. We would be taking delivery of them right away. And they would go to the upfit shop and get done. So this is all the paperwork was done, all the invoices. It was just a matter of you guys saying yes.
Yeah, the packet the chief is referring to was in your meeting packet last meeting.
I do recall that now, and I will make one other comment. I'm not an expert on financing, but since the borough paid nicely for me to go to the PSAB conference, I believe the place you used was approved by Pennsylvania or something. I think I saw their name.
A CoStar?
Yeah.
No, they're not. I don't believe the company that we're using for the financing is a CoStar company, but Fred Beans is. The car company is. Yeah. So your financing is $5,000 a year for 3 years at $15,000. So I don't even know whether you even have to worry about the CoStar situation. But with that being said, we went to Ford and asked for them to finance it. They were at 5.5. So I went out shopping to this other company, Univest, and they do a lot of police vehicles and a lot of fire trucks, and they were at 4.24 with no other cost.
Okay, I was just going to point out that they said that there was a pre-approved, there's a couple of places in PA that they said used to have good rates, and they don't beat the private banks anymore. But if you shopped around, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Oh, I shop for everything. Okay, and last, the tragedy down Florida last week at the high school. This isn't more for council as it is for our citizens that are out there. Just to let them know, we had a little situation in the school last week that was handled by the police department and handled very well. I got and I don't want to go into the situation, but there was threats made. There was a person arrested who was an adult. I had cars out there this morning hoping to alleviate some of the fears from the parents. Well, that actually did the opposite. When they saw the police vehicles out there, they thought something was wrong. So, but it was handled very well by us. We had the FBI called me last night at home. They had received information about what was going on. They wanted to do what I already did. They were very happy with the proactive situation that we did do. But with that being said, this is a different time and a different day. We met with the teachers today, myself and the superintendent. Tomorrow, we're going to meet with all the high school kids. We're going to go room by room and talk to the kids. Any parents that are out there, I need them to talk to their kids. The seriousness of the language that these kids have. You can't threaten people anymore. This is being taken very seriously. And it's going to have to be dealt with on a local level. They talk about weapon bans, things like that. That's not going to happen. The Second Amendment is not going to go away. The Fourth Amendment due process is not going to go away. we have to handle on the local level. Parents have to talk to their kids. They have to have dinner with their kids. They have to open dialogue. They have to act like parents and talk with their kids and find out what's going on and get that to the administration and then get that to me. And we will handle what we have to handle. The way we handled that this past week is an example of the old days are the old days. If you threaten people, people are going to take it very seriously. And to blame the FBI for what happened in Florida is a damn shame. To blame President Trump for not banning these weapons, he can ban those weapons tomorrow. There's a million of them out there. This isn't going to stop the problem. This has to be something that is local grown, and we're going to have to make sure our kids are talked to about the seriousness of talking to people and what they say. The idea when we were growing up, well, words don't hurt. Words can get you in a lot of trouble. And so if you know anybody out there that have kids in our schools, please ask them to talk to the kids. Explain to them, you know, you can't say what you used to be able to say and think that it's going to be okay. If anybody has any questions that I can talk about what went on in the school this past week, I'm open for questions.
Will the police be back out there tomorrow as well?
Yes, as well as I will be there tomorrow, beginning at 8 o'clock, to walk the hallways and talking to the high school kids.
Okay. Right,
But it blew up on Facebook like it was no tomorrow. And guess how many phone calls I got about it? None. Call me. Call the office. Email me. My emails come up on my phone right away. And everybody knows I get back to you on them. So any parents ever have something that they think that is hinky, something's going on, call us. Don't blow something stupid off. Call us. Let us look into it. Let's go out and talk to parents, and we will. Okay, we can't have that situation happen down in Miami. And what's a shame is, in 2 weeks from now or next month, we'll be standing here, and that Miami, or not Miami, Parkland will be, nobody will even remember it. Because remember, we had a mass murder 4 weeks ago in Las Vegas. It's not even in the news anymore. What happened to the bump stocks? Anybody remember all that? That was the big political thing then?
He banned them today.
Actually,
He banned them today.
He banned them today. Well,
yeah, because the NRA supports that position.
Right. Well, see how long that took. But that took a while. That took what probably precipitated that, and this I can't fact it, but was what happened in Parkland, that he had to take some kind of stand. But the rest of these big rifles aren't going to go away. Right, Counsel?
Well, you asked me a legal question. The Second Amendment does not protect assault rifles. It protects handguns and what have you. Justice Scalia himself said that in the Heller case. However, that's a political issue, not a legal issue.
The Second Amendment's not going away.
I didn't say the Second Amendment's going away. I said it doesn't protect assault rifles.
It doesn't.
That's a legal. That's a factually legal. I mean, that's a correct legal statement I just made.
Right.
That's up for the citizens of our country to decide what they want to do with those.
But even so, even if they outlaw them tomorrow, we have millions of them out there. So please talk to your kids. Please talk. If anybody has any questions, my phone's on. I'll answer whatever questions I am allowed to legally answer.
Chief, thanks for the information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief.
Okay. There's no junior council report tonight. Any committee reports?
Make it really brief so we can move along.
Sure, thank you.
The joint school board council meeting was held on the 7th. It was held here at Borough Hall because of the snow day and the district being closed. Very briefly, the Capitol Views building was discussed, and they're exploring their options. At this point, they're looking at demoing the building and opening it up as a field, possibly for some off-street parking for the A field and that. They're looking at putting out an RFP for demo. That's in the preliminary stages. They're just looking at it at this point. Nothing has been decided. Manor Park, the Facilities Committee recommends marketing the building for sale, not for rent. They're also looking at possibly a referendum for a $5 million bond issue. to fund some construction at Grandview, I believe an addition. And lastly, they're looking at a digital marquee sign at the high school to replace the old dilapidated one against the building. I believe the school board president emailed the borough manager asking for information as to zoning requirements and stuff like that. So, and that's pretty much it. Some other discussion from the public about bullying and stuff like that. That was mainly between the school board members and the parents. And I think that's it. I'm going to type this up and I'll forward it to all the council members and the borough manager.
Thank you very much.
Madam President, the Policy and Committee, Policy and Ordinance Committee met on February 14th at 7 p.m. We went over changes to the peddling and soliciting ordinance that we're going to be proposing. Some highlights from that include creating a no soliciting list. And right now, as we're drafting it up, our hopes are that the borough manager will manage this list with the police doing the enforcement. It would add a 5-day waiting period for solicitation permits, and would also change the hours for soliciting from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. or sunset, whichever occurs first. We had some other discussion about a list of other ordinance and policies to visit, and it's a growing list. So we will be working on those in the future. Additionally, we had discussion on the personnel policy / employee handbook. Prior to the meeting, I was informed Mr. Mitchell, the solicitor, and I believe Ms. Cyphers are working on a revised handbook, and they will bring it to us for review. And if we have any changes or not, we will bring it to council.
Okay, Mr. Bauer, you'll be forwarding those recommendations, correct, to the council?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam President, if
Yes.
I may. I believe I saw notes recently from the Beautification Committee meeting, and I wanted our Public Works Superintendent to speak to a couple of the items from that meeting report.
Okay.
John has some updates for you.
How you doing? Yeah, we'd gotten, I think there was an issue about a tree that was diseased.
Yes.
If you, good.
Go ahead.
If you can mark that tree for us, Public Works can take that down.
What do you want me to?
Just mark it with spray paint, white paint, whatever you want. Just let me know what tree it is.
Okay.
Or I can meet you, you can point it out to me. That's up to you.
I'm sensing that there might be an arborist in the audience.
I'm going by what I was told.
Yes, John there.
Diane Yules is a certified arborist. So she deals with the trees. Annie brought it to our attention at the beautification committee. The same disease that was on the initial tree that came out last year had jumped to that tree as well.
Okay.
So it's got the same disease that the other trees had.
So what are you suggesting?
So the suggestion was to remove the tree.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I read, and that's why I said that.
Yeah. Okay. I know. I don't want to remove a tree. But when we removed the last 2 trees, we replaced it with 2 trees. So maybe we can figure out a way to replace the tree possibly.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't like to remove trees, but I also don't want a diseased tree jumping to all the rest of the trees that are there.
I agree.
Because there are quite a few still left. I just don't want to see something happen to the rest of our little forest we have going on over there.
Oh, you give me the direction, whatever that is. The Public Works will do whatever needs to be done.
Maybe our arborist could take a look at some of those
Absolutely.
trees for us down there. At the plaza.
Robert Morris Plaza.
Yeah.
And there's only one
Yeah,
tree there. Am I correct? There's one. It's one.
It's just this
it's
one.
the one
To
tree.
the left of the
right now
of
it's
the
just this
turn.
one tray.
Yeah, where the garden areas.
Yes.
Yes, there's one. We had 2 last year that had to come out and
No.
No. The weeping cherry
I'll
is
show it to you.
inside. That's one of the new ones, actually, we're hoping doesn't get affected. But last year, the one that was taken out was really bad. I don't think any of us realized how bad it was till we went down and started to film some of it and see some action that was going on. So it definitely was affecting that. So I don't know if the other one's as bad, but we do have an issue with that.
Okay.
So
Well, after she looks at it, then we'll absolutely, whatever she recommends.
There was another tree, I found out, I'm sorry, I don't mean to go into this, but down at 38 Hillcrest, there's a tree behind the building that,
The Bulldog Building.
yeah, the Bulldog building.
Yes.
I actually did, there's two. I did have Diane go down and take a look at them. What wound up happening is one of the larger branches fell and hit the side of the building. It didn't do any damage because the air conditioner stopped it. So the branch is behind the building. But I did ask Diane to please go and take a look at these trees, just because this one tree is literally right behind Bulldog Hall, and I don't want to see it fall into Bulldog Hall if something were to happen. So I did have Diane go down and look at it, and it does have a problem, but she may have a solution on how to fix it so that we don't have to remove it.
Okay.
So
That was actually one of the trees that the neighbor had called about that tree leaning towards their house and was concerned that it might be an issue down the road. So it was one of the trees we were looking to do this year. So if there's suggestions, I'll take them. Absolutely.
that tree provides a lot of shade for us in the summer.
It does. I'm sure. Also, traffic lights. I think the traffic light, they talked at Delmore and Bridge Street. There's some chips on them, something like that.
Yeah,
You mentioned. I went over there today, a little bit of spray paint. At some point, I'll get my guys out there. We'll just kind of spray paint them, just clean them up a little bit. That's all.
Yeah, we weren't sure how that would get addressed if they were powder coated coming in, something you
they're
could do.
fine. We can just paint. The other thing is the mulch, and down at where we collect leaves and leave leaves. Again, I'm not a gardener. I don't know any of this, but anything I've read with these leaves, it takes a long time for that to break down. It doesn't break down in a year. It takes longer than that, is what I've read anyway. I mean, I can leave a certain pile, but we can't leave all those leaves there because every year we collect leaves.
Right.
So it'll just be full of leaves. So, I'm not a big fan of leaving that and letting the residents, they'll never use all those leaves. I mean, we can put a small pile to the side.
Okay.
But even then, if it's not turned over all the time, if it's not, it just takes a long time to do. And I think mostly that I've understood that's more for ground cover. Like, in the wintertime, you cover up your things so they don't
Frost cover.
Yeah,
It's
frost
not
covering.
mulch.
Yeah, it's not mulch. So, but I mean, we can work with that, but I'm definitely not going to leave that.
Right.
We cannot do that. So we'll have no room to collect leaves next year.
Yeah.
So
I know Mr. Mitchell had said that over in Langhorne, they were, I think, taking theirs to Lower Makefield, was it? And then they actually stopped doing
Lower
it?
Makefield used to take all kinds of yard waste for recycling, but they don't anymore.
No more. They don't take it anymore.
yeah,
So
so-
the only way for us to get rid of it is to pay someone to haul it. And it's I mean, the fee is not, I don't know what it is, but it's definitely worth, getting it out so we can collect leaves. Otherwise, if we don't, we're going to be a situation where we can't collect leaves anymore. There's no room for it.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and that's it.
Yeah, well, thanks for checking in, Boris, about it.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much.
Just so you know, John loves public speaking.
We could tell. Okay.
I'll just briefly, really quickly, for the Business Outreach Committee, we're working on our second annual restaurant week. It looks like it will be the last week of May into the first week of June. I believe that's May 27th to June 2nd, but don't quote me on that.
Sorry, could you say that again, the dates, approximately?
It's the last week of May into the first week of June. I think it's May 27th to June 2nd.
Okay.
Was that the one for the ambulance?
Yes,
thing? Oh, that was
correct.
great last year. I hit all those restaurants.
So did I. I'm hoping all 7 sign up again, and we did have Shri Fusion on Bridge Street agree to be a part of it. So hopefully we'll have 8 this year, and I will keep everybody updated. Thank you.
I mentioned Corinne last year. I think it was the artists of Morrisville did the banner. Didn't they do the design on that? Was kind of cute with the plate and
They actually did too, and it was really great. And I've already reached out to the organization, and it's something I would like to kind of have something different every year.
Right.
One person said they were going to bring me a new one, but certainly we could always use all of
Yeah.
that. So
I was wondering if they were going to do some kind of a design for it again. It was kind of catchy. And
it was really, really cute. There was the forks, and then there was the from ours. It was really great. So
Yeah, I don't know. Was last year, was that put on to the website as far as the flyer with that logo
yes.
that they did? Okay. All right.
And it was put on the kiosks as well.
Okay. Yeah, that was a nice idea. Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, I know. One thing, Corinne. The meetings you were having down with the businesses, are you doing any more of those? Has they been lined up or?
It looks like hopefully March, between holidays, the weather, and illnesses. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out, but hopefully mid-March. Hopefully everybody stay healthy.
Okay, because some people have asked about it. Okay, thank you. All right, I think that's the last of the committee reports. Now we're going into the action items. So that would be 9A, a motion to authorize to hire a part-time police officer. Have a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Any comments on this item? No? Okay. Take a roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Councilwoman Larison?
Yes.
Councilman Parker?
Yes.
Councilman Pepitone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Avery?
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0.
Okay, so if we're going to hire the part-timer, then next month we'll swear him in. It's for special presentation then, just
Sure.
so everybody's on the same page.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. Have that added to the agenda. Sure. 9B is authorized to enter into a one-year trial agreement with How? Is that Huff? Is that Huff? How you say that? Oh, that's spelling. Huff Associates to collect residential and commercial recycling data and prepare PADEP 904 recycling grant applications on behalf of Morrisville Borough. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments on this?
I just had a quick question. Do we, since this is new, is this something that, will we get like a monthly report, a quarterly report? Will we get it as, pretty much as needed?
I believe the reports are annual.
Annual, okay.
Anyone else?
I just wanted to point out for the public, the cost of this is $1,200. And it looks like without these services in 2017, we brought in $9,500 and change from recycling grants. And in 2015, we brought in $15,300 and change. So the way I look at it is if we spend $1,200 and we beat those amounts, it's well invested. And if we don't, we'll revisit this next year and maybe not continue the services.
Yeah, may I?
Sure, absolutely.
If I may point out, remember, under this agreement, the provider is going to canvass haulers besides the borough's own vendor that picks up municipal solid waste. So we hope to capture more data by doing that than we have been in the past.
I did speak with a business owner today, and he did receive letters inquiring about this in the past. So there are some, but I know they said they were going to be much more aggressive about searching for the information.
Yep.
So hopefully we bring in more money.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Okay, everyone ready? We'll do a roll call on it, please.
Councilman Bowers?
Yes.
Councilwoman Weisbach?
Yes.
Councilwoman Crawford?
Yes.
Councilwoman Larison?
Yes.
Councilman Parker?
Yes.
Councilman Pepitone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Avery?
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Okay, next is 9C, the motion to approval of a resolution authorizing the borough manager to execute PennDOT application for travel signal approval to adjust and restrict truck traffic at the intersection of Pennsylvania Ave, Avenue and Bridge Street.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments on this?
Do we know how long this will take to implement?
Not entirely, because a lot of it is on PennDOT.
Not
Sorry.
fast. Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's fine.
by doing this, you're actually adopting 5 resolutions for 5 different locations. They were itemized in your packet.
We got them tonight.
If you look in the bottom of your packets, to make it easier for you, we put a ray on the bottom of each one,
right,
so you know which one it is, because otherwise I couldn't figure it out at all. So,
Do you want me to read the list? Do you want me to read the list? Okay, the traffic signal location list is Delmore Avenue and Bridge Street, Delmore Avenue and Trenton Avenue, Pennsylvania Avenue and Bridge Street, South Pennsylvania Avenue and Philadelphia Avenue, Trenton Avenue and Pennsylvania Avenue.
Thank you. Okay. Any other comments? Okay, then we'll take a roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes 8-0. Next is 9D, motion to authorize to permit the Morrisville Yardley Area Rotary Club to utilize Williamson Park on March 31st, 2018, from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for its annual Easter egg hunt. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments on this? Okay, we do this every year. It's just, okay, just, okay. Everyone, what do you say? For approve. I can't stop.
She's cracking herself up right
I
now.
can't stop laughing.
you can do it by a voice vote.
I'm sorry, do a voice vote. No. I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Councilman Bowers?
Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
There you go, Virginia.
Okay. Motion passes 8-0. Stop. We're laughing too much. Okay. 9E is a motion to authorize for the borough engineer and borough solicitor to proceed with the installation of a new stop sign at Green Street and Washington Avenue. Can I have a motion?
Second.
Please? Who was the first? I didn't know who did. You did so fast.
Green Street and Washington. Green and Washington.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions or comments on this one?
Washington Street.
Do we need to correct that to say Washington Street? It's actually Washington Street, I'm being told.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I thought it was Washington Ave too. Is it Washington Street?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam President,
Yes.
that will never pass the study. There's just not enough vehicle traffic there for it.
Really?
So I'll sit out there for you if you want me to do it for an hour or 2 hours and give you a count. But you need so many vehicles and it's not going to pass. So I don't know is it costing us money to do it?
$1,500.
The borough engineer came at the last special meeting and gave a presentation about it. He said there probably won't be enough traffic, but there may be a line of sight issue, which deems that you may be able to put one in there.
The engineer did say that there was a sightline issue, not a traffic issue.
So he said there's some regulations, that it may meet that one, but they have to do an official study first to see if it does.
Okay.
If I may, Madam President.
Yes, sure.
I will voluntarily sit out there for 2 hours and give you the count if you want that. There's no traffic there. There's just, it's very. Okay. I mean, I'm fine with the stop sign. I like having that stop sign. More
Would you
stop
line up
signs, the
everybody?
better. But it's not that they got to be legal. And so you guys decide. If you want me to do it, I'll voluntarily sit out there and give you the count. Or if you want to spend the money, that's up to you guys.
Well, actually, the TMA actually would do it for free, too. That is a service. I had the TMA do a traffic study at Grandview years ago. But as the chief mentioned earlier tonight, traffic is one of the key issues that we get questioned and concerns about. And I learned many years ago as a council person, you're not allowed to use a stop sign for traffic calming measures. So I agree with everything that's being said here tonight. You do need so many vehicles. However, there's something on the books, I think it was called Title I. When you approach an intersection, by law, you have to yield. So you don't just get a stop sign because PennDOT says you already have to yield. However, if there is a sight line issue, perhaps there's a tree, hedges, et cetera, at that point, they may grant you the stop sign because they would like you to stop, look both ways before you proceed. So it's actually very difficult to get a stop sign to get the approval. So, hopefully they'll get it, but always consider asking the TMA too if you want. Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes.
it's actually a house. Used to be a store years ago, but it is right where the sidewalk starts. I mean, it is, both sides of this house is on the sidewalk. So there is a very
So it is
major site issue.
a site problem?
Yes.
So that's where they're maybe trying to gear that on? Okay.
There's an issue with it.
Anyone else have anything to say about it? Okay. Should we do a roll call on this? Or, yes? Okay. In case.
Councilman Ballard?
Yes.
Councilman Drysdale?
Yes.
Councilman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Patterson?
Yes.
Councilman Parker?
Yes.
Councilman Pepperton?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Okay, next is 9F. A motion to accept a letter of resignation from Councilman Bill Pepitone.
Effective March 1.
Effective March 1st, 2018.
Mr. Council President, can I read the letter quickly?
Sure, let me just get a second first.
Go right ahead.
You might not be able to.
He seconded.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Pepitone, please.
I'll read quickly. I know it's getting late. Mr. Mitchell, Council President Smith, Mayor Ravella, members of the Morrisville Borough Council, Borough residents, I wish to submit my letter of resignation from Borough Council effective March 1st, 2018. While I've enjoyed my time on Borough Council and I have learned so much about government and people over the last 2 years, family responsibilities have necessitated this decision, an extremely difficult one for me, which I did not take lightly. I wish to thank each and every resident of Morrisville Borough, and I apologize to everyone who has voted for me and those who have not in the 2 elections I participated in for not being able to fulfill my commitment. I believe my successor will be able to invest far more time into representing the people than I have been over the last several months. The residents of Morrisville Borough deserve such representation. Thank you, everyone.
I say with heavy heart that we accept that letter from you, Mr. Pepitone. Thank you for your service here with us. We're going to miss you. We've done a lot of good things together here. We wish you well with everything in your life moving forward.
Thank you.
Yes, can we take a vote on that, please?
Voice vote. It's Bill.
I think it was.
Councilman Ballard?
Yes.
Councilman Drysdale?
Yes.
Councilman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Patterson?
Yes.
Councilman Parker?
Yes.
Yeah, no, she said yes.
I did say yes.
Get out. And Councilman Smith?
Yes.
And Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Next is 9G, motion to hire permanent borough manager and to appoint same as borough secretary, subject to the negotiations of an employment agreement. Can I have a motion, please?
I'd like to nominate Scott Mitchell.
No, motion. Motion, please.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay.
Sorry, I jumped the gun. Obey the term word.
You got the second? Okay. Now can I have a nomination?
There's a motion.
Yeah. Right. We did, and a second. Do you want us to vote on the motion first? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Or we'll vote on the motion first. Okay.
You have a motion and a second. Are there any, you can ask for comments, and then you can vote on it, or not.
Is there any questions or comments on it?
I have a comment.
Sure.
I first want to thank everyone who came out for their interviews. We had some amazing candidates. They were highly qualified individuals that were just amazing. At the end of the day, my vote is going to be for the person that had the most experience in the position, practical application in the position. But again, I want to thank all of the folks that came out.
Thank you. Anyone else?
How are we handling the motion? We're doing a motion to hire an individual, or we're just doing the motion to?
First, in the motion just to say we're going to hire,
And then
correct?
we're going to do a nomination.
And then we'll do the nomination, yeah.
All right. I was confused.
Is that what you said to do? Yes.
I thought. Is that what the motion was?
Right.
I didn't hear- I'm getting late. The motion was
Yeah,
to hire.
I can't hear down here.
Whatever the motion was in second, yeah, you can vote on it.
Okay. All right, so we're going to vote first on the motion to hire that borough manager first. Okay, roll call on that part.
Yes.
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 Councilman Parker?
Yes.
Councilman Pepitone?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Okay, the actual motion to hire is passed by 8-0. Now, we'll take nominations, correct? At this point? Make sure I'm doing this right.
Now somebody can make a motion to nominate whomever
Okay.
of the candidates
At
they
this point.
want to be the permanent borough manager.
Okay.
I'd like to nominate Scott Mitchell.
Second.
Okay.
What are the odds?
All right. I will take a first, questions or comments on it first? Council.
Are you going to call for another nomination, or
We're going to do,
just at a time?
do you want to do individually?
Second.
Well, look, you can do whatever you want. You have a motion, you have a second, and you can vote on it, the motion. And then if that motion passes, then you don't need another motion. If that motion fails, then you make a nomination. But it's up to council. I'm not telling council how to do their business. I'm just telling you. I guess I am.
Okay. Are we doing that? And then if it fails, then we'll go to the next round? Is that correct? We're going to do that? Right. Okay.
Councilman Bowers?
Yes.
Councilwoman Drysdale?
Yes.
Councilwoman Chronicle?
No.
Councilwoman Larison?
Yes.
Councilman Parker?
No.
Councilman Pepitone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
6-2.
6-2, I'm sorry. Keep it.
Minimized.
Congratulations, Mr. Mitchell. Okay.
Welcome aboard.
Sure. 1 second, please.
No. Business.
Sorry, we're back. Okay. Under unfinished business, we have appointments to do. There's several of them. 10A. So that would be, first is the Environmental Advisory Council. It's a 3-year appointment to expire on 12/19/20. There was Nicole Rahman, whose her term has expired. She did put in a letter to be accepted as reappointment. That is the only name up there, unless I believe that's the only one we got. I didn't see any other ones.
I nominate Nicole Rahman.
Second.
Okay. Is there any questions on that? Yeah. Okay. Anyone have any questions or comments on that particular motion? I don't think so. Okay. All right. Call the board. Can we have all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion. No. No. Any nays? No. So motion passes 8-0. Planning Commission, there's 2 4-year appointments to expire on 12/31/2021. Ms. Debbie Colgan, her term expired in December 31st, 17. The other one is Gary Amos, expired 12/31/17. They both have sent in letters for reappointment. I believe, let me look at my list. Planning Commission. Also, Mr. John DeWild has put in an application for it. It's a letter of interest, I'm sorry. And the other one was Holly Harmon put in a letter of interest. Just so everyone knows what the names are on there. Okay, can I have a
Madam President, there was a third that put in an application, Eric McHugh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That he was interested in both planning and zoning. I had spoken to him, and his scheduling permits more for zoning
Oh, okay. But
than the planning.
I thought it was zoning for him.
I'm sorry,
but it
I
was-
have that backwards.
I thought he was zoning he put in for. Actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he put in for he saw all the openings on the different boards and commissions. I think if it was available, I believe is what it was, unless I'm wrong. I was going to mention that later.
That's all I remember as
Is
well.
that what it was?
It was a blanket.
Oh, okay.
Put me somewhere.
I could be wrong, but I believe that's what it was. So there was just 4 of them then.
I'm sorry, I have an email from him. It says it seems like the planning commission fits his schedule better. He's out of town the beginning of the week.
Okay. So that's where he wanted to have his considered for that? McHugh, okay. All right, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 names to pick from. 2 are the ones, Ms. Colgan and Mr. Amos are the ones that are the expired ones that have asked to be reappointed, or you can put up another name. So can I have
I'd like to nominate Deborah Colgan.
Okay. Do we do both at one time, or doesn't really matter? Okay, can we have a second nomination then?
Thank you.
Gary Amos? Second. Is there a second on it?
Second for nomination? I cannot either.
We don't need it, right?
Good enough.
Okay. All right.
I'd like to nominate John DeWild.
John DeWild. Anyone else?
I'd like to also nominate Eric McHugh.
Holly
Okay.
Harmon.
I don't.
Is there another?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Eileen?
Holly Harmon. Holly Harmon.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. How do we do
Very
this now?
competitive spot.
Step in.
So it's my understanding we now have 5 nominations for 2 positions. Is that correct?
Correct.
Well, I guess everyone could vote for 2. And then you can add up and we'll see who wins. I mean, I don't know. You can do that or you can vote one at a time. It's really your choice, Madam President.
Yeah.
Okay.
One at a time makes sense.
Does council want to do it one at a time, or?
Yes.
Each name that was put out there first? Yes, is that what we're going to do? Okay. For the one seat, the first name was put up was Deborah Colgan. Can I have a second on that? I mean, I don't need a second. I'm sorry, just a roll call on it. Sorry. Yes, for Debbie Colgan in the one position.
No.
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
Councilman Yeager.
Yes.
Okay, that's.
4-4.
Is that 4-4? Okay. And Mayor can break that tie? Yes? Okay. All right, then Ms. Colgan has that seat?
She who gets the most votes.
Yeah.
4 votes.
Well, you do one at a time though, right?
Yeah,
One
I thought we were
position
doing
and
one at a
one at a
time.
time.
Somebody got a majority. Is that what you want to do? Somebody want to see who gets the most on the council?
Yeah. See if
All right, is that what we're going to do? Okay, so we're doing it? All right.
Oh my God.
Remember on that?
I
don't remember the bylaws.
Do you-
That is the case, it's covered then.
What's the matter?
Do you know about that? Mr. Bowers, I think you mentioned that to me.
I believe her letter said it was recommended but not required.
It's recommended, it's not required?
No.
Okay.
Who's the next one?
The next one would be Gary Amos. Colgan. Okay, a roll call, please, for that.
Councilman Bowers.
Yes.
Councilwoman Garza.
No.
Councilwoman Prodigal.
Yes.
Councilwoman Larison.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Councilman Parker. Councilman Pepitone.
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Yeager.
Yes.
Yes, that's 6-2.
No.
So it's 7-1.
Oh,
7-1.
oh, I thought it was 6-2.
That's 7-1.
It was Eileen.
That's real confusing. Okay, 7-1.
Oh, Justin said no?
6-2. Justin and Eileen.
I heard 6-2.
That's what I
It
heard.
was 6-2.
Which one?
Okay, so 6-2.
Gary Amos.
I said yes.
Justin said yeah.
Oh, for crying out loud.
I heard 6-2. Okay. All right, so Gary Amos got the majority for the one seat. So one seat,
So far.
Ms. Colgan's a tie. Okay, so right now, Gary Amos has the one seat at 6-2. Okay, that's case care one. Wow. Okay, the next one in line was John DeWild is the next name up. So we'll do a roll call on that one for the one other seat. See if he comes up with more than Ms. Colgan did.
No.
Councilwoman Drysdale.
Yes.
Councilwoman Prodigal.
No.
Councilwoman Larison.
No.
Councilman Parker.
No.
Councilman Pepitone.
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Yeager.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. Another 4-4.
Go the last one.
I
Okay,
have two
hold
more.
on.
You have me
Wait,
queuing
this
up.
is like keeping
Carmen.
real score. Hold on.
This is
All
a
right.
very competitive board.
Ooh, I'm telling you.
one that
I'm
meets like-
telling you. Okay. What's the next name? I'm losing
Eric
count.
McHugh.
What was the next name we did?
Eric McHugh.
Eric McHugh? Okay, Eric McHugh?
See.
Yes.
Yeah. I know. So I'm confused now. Roll call, please, for Eric McHugh.
Councilman Bowers.
Yes.
Councilwoman Drysdale.
No.
Councilwoman Prodigal.
No.
Councilwoman Larison.
Yes.
Councilman Parker.
No.
Councilman Pepitone.
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith.
No.
Councilman Yeager.
Yes.
Another 4-4? Is it? Oh, jeez.
All right, well, the mayor broke the tie in the first one, voting yes. He has 6-2. He voted no on the other two.
You got Holly.
5?
Holly Harmon. Yeah.
5?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's 5.
Oh, forgive me. Oh,
Not getting
here I
up
was
that
having so
quick.
much fun.
Just do the math.
Forgive me. There's 5 of them?
Okay.
There's 5.
All right. All right. So this is what, 3 ties we have now?
Yes.
Who's next? Who's the next one?
Wow. Hold on. I got a scorecard up here. Hold on.
You need a score.
I know. All right. Okay, the next one.
hanging chair.
All right, next one.
Go there.
Topical.
Next one is Holly Harmon. Take a roll call.
No.
Yes.
No.
Councilman Larison?
No.
Councilman Parker?
No.
Councilman Pepitone?
No.
Councilman Smith?
No.
Councilman
No, it doesn't matter anyway.
It doesn't matter anymore. You go.
No, no.
All right.
Okay,
All right, we're down to.
now I think we can.
All right, now we're
say
down to 3 ties.
Colgan and Amos are the two who have been
And
elected.
Wild.
And DeWile.
No, because the mayor the mayor's the tiebreaker. He voted yes
There's 3 ties.
On the
on
first,
Colgan. He voted no.
on the first tie.
the,
Is that what you're saying?
Correct, Mayor?
Okay.
Those are the two winners.
Okay.
Amos and
Right.
Colgan. Okay.
So Amos and,
Right after the Pennsylvania Supreme Court gets done with the gerrymandering case, they'll be taking this up. This will be the next order of business.
see all this scribble up here. Oh, my gosh. I hope the zoning board goes
One more
easier.
time.
Hopefully we don't have something.
Oh, wait, there's no hearing board.
Yeah, we got one more, yeah. Okay. All right, next is, wow, where are we? The zoning hearing board, there's a 1 3-year appointment for an alternate to expire on 2/17/21. This is just the alternate. Susan Zakowski, hers is expiring 2/17/18. She did send in her letter to be reappointed. I think there was Husan Jalad, I think was the only other person that I know of that wanted to be considered for the regular zoning board, which is filled. So you could put his name up there if you wanted to for the alternate.
I nominate Zakowski.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
I'm sorry, what name did you say?
Susan
Zakowski?
Zakowski is
Before that.
yeah, it's, I got to pronounce it right. Husan Jalad.
I'm sorry, was that in our packet?
We had it last time. I'm just taking the names
Okay,
from who
gotcha.
applied last time.
Okay.
And just giving everybody the names that said, if it comes up again, could you consider me? We did get it. Okay. All right, so the nomination is for Susan Zakowski. So we take a roll call on it.
Yes.
Councilman Rosebud?
Yes.
Councilman Conklin?
Yes.
Councilman Larison?
Yes.
Councilman Parker?
Yes.
Councilman Pepitone?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Phew. 8-0. Okay. Okay, there was 8-0 for Susan Zakowski for that position. Is there any other new business, Mr. Manager?
Want to make a decision on the Little League?
Motion to adjourn?
No, I got a few more things to go. I don't know that the council wanted to tonight, but I didn't actually get to look it over real well.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
The manager asked if we wanted to make a decision on the Little League paper that we got tonight.
I need time to review that.
Yeah, I haven't even
only
looked
got
at it.
a little bit ago to glance at it.
Absolutely.
Could I know I hesitate to ask this, but I'd like to have like an executive session with council for like 5 minutes after it's over, without the manager, to discuss
Right.
parameters of a contract, so I know what to negotiate.
We're going to need a break before that, or we're going to have a puddle on the floor over here.
But first, we'll have a puddle break.
Can I just really quickly just state that Career Day is this Friday at Morrisville High School, and if you'd like to participate, it's 7:45 to 11:06 a.m. And if you have any questions, you can contact me or the school directly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being fast on that, because they were all tired. Sorry. Thanks for getting that through. Okay, borough officials. And you need.
I just have one other announcement. On March 11th, Friends of Morrisville Dog Park will be holding a dog wash at Fort Paul's Doggy Daycare from 9 to 12 and 1 to 3.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? All right. So would you like to, I guess we could adjourn because we're not going to be doing any kind of a vote tonight when it comes to the executive session. So unless there's anyone else, is there anything else you need to
Can I at least give the Little League some direction on how to proceed with the upcoming season? Or would you like to put a pin in this until you've read everything?
I would like us to have time to read this.
Yes, please.
Since we just actually got this as we walked in here tonight, none of us have a chance to really look at this. I think that's only fair.
And I did receive it via email this afternoon, but it was literally a couple hours before the meeting, so I did glance at it, but I haven't
didn't
really
get to my emails.
Are you comfortable allowing me then at least to let them hang their banner up for the 2018 season?
I think it's only fair.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Banners away.
All right. Anything else?
The purpose of the personnel session or the tech session?
I'm sorry?
What's the purpose of the tech session?
The solicitor just said what it was?
I asked that we have executives. I wanted to meet with counsel so I could talk about the manager's contract,
Thank you, you are right.
so I can negotiate. Thank you.
Yes, we're actually going to adjourn the meeting, so you don't all have to stay here. There won't be any vote for this. It's just us talking about the contract.
Motion close.
Motion to adjourn.
We're losing our voters.
So moved.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Danielle.
Oh, my God. Holy cow, I have never seen. We've never had that many.
We had a down. Perhaps, yeah.
You know, and once you've been, you say, share down there.
I know.
Better say thank you. I appreciate that.
You need to there somewhere, but
I have my little check. No, do you need a copy or anything? Oh, I promise that. They're good too about not losing things and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes, you know, they happen. So it's like, that's why I couldn't hear too.
Mr. Lader, can you come up to the dais when you have a minute?
I know. I'm okay with that.
oh yeah.
You're naked? God forbid all three of you ran in here together. Of course you can't go. I thought you were made of motion.
Mr. Lader?
I kind of missed it, but yeah, well, I can all leave on the report.
The engineer and everybody here at the agenda meeting.
Can you send you
They used to do that.
So there's a difference between financial.
Right. You don't need to read every bill.
No. There's a difference that shows you different funds and the budget and where you are, which is different from the bill list. Mike was asking questions on the bill list.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the financial report, it's the bill list. So the treasurer just shows you where you are. But with the authority, it's like, where's your 25%, where's your revenue?
Right.
We are either down, definitely brokerage, and really they should have opened the front early, and then in June, otherwise you won't have anything.
Right. Me too. It's too late.
Well, no, it's